Okay.
All right, there we go.
Okay.
All right, so thank you guys for hopping on and watching and learning a little bit about the Game Design Challenge. I'm Matt Kressheim. We're joined by Jeff Sobolski, our STLP chief enthusiast, and our Game Design Challenge lead, Mr. Keith Barnes, who's a longtime STLP supporter from Bullitt County as a digital learning coach. Keith, how many years have you led this challenge?
I was thinking about that before. I can't remember. It was either the first or second year that moved to Rupp Arena. I can't remember if it was the first or the second.
Wow, long time.
Yeah.
So we're gonna pass it over to Mr. Barnes to describe and tell us what's going on with the Game Design Challenge.
All right. Okay, so Game Design Challenge is for middle school and high school only. Like Matt said, we've been doing this a long, long time. We started out the first year that I remember, we had 8 teams. Last year we had over 50. So it's really grown, really gone, exceeded all expectations. So the first thing I want to talk about, not so much what the game design challenge is, but what the game design challenge is not. So if you look at the screen there, and you'll notice that there's a word missing that most people assign to the game design challenge, and that word is video. You'll notice purposely the word video is nowhere in the description of this challenge because it is not a video game design challenge. It is a design challenge, not a development challenge. And that's where some people get a little hesitant to do it, especially in the middle school. We don't have any coding experience. We don't know how to do any of that stuff. And so we're just not going to do it. Well, you don't need to. In fact, some of the best games that have won, especially in the middle school division, but high school division too, have been games that had no video game component to it at all. It was a board game. It was a card game. It was a prototype of a video game. It's like, if we could code it, this is what we would do. All that is perfectly fine. It is a design challenge, not a development challenge. And what that means is it's about what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, how the game interacts with the players, how the players advance from level to level, what kinds of extra point kind of things, XP stuff you have, how they get that, all that kind of stuff. So that's what the challenge really is. It has absolutely nothing to do with coding a video game. Although, that being said, especially at the high school level, because we have so many schools now that have the game design CTE in their curriculum, we do have some people that make a level of a game, like a video game like they would in their classroom. That gives them no more advantage than somebody that just has a card game or a board game. There's no inherent content on the rubric that gives an advantage to a video game than to another kind of game. Even a table game. We had one last year. It was a very nice table game. It was Warhammer, but for a learning experience game of Warhammer. And that, I think, won the middle school last year, I think. And although we've had some full-on game design video games that have won, they're really in the minority over the years, mostly because people just don't have the talent developed to do that. But if that's something you want to do, you can go right ahead and do that. So what does the game design challenge really look like? And I'm going to try to, going to have to, does not want to move here. Doesn't want to go to the next screen for some reason, which is not good. Oh, heck. Maybe down there. Let's see. Well, oh, okay. Here we go. I don't know how that's different. Okay, there we go. So once again, going with the theme of what this isn't, you'll notice in this picture, there is no computer. So do I need crazy mad computer skills to do this challenge? Absolutely not. You'll notice here, you notice in this picture, they've got the board game. This thing right here, this is the prototype, and we'll talk about the prototype in a minute. They're sketching it out on paper. They're using Post-its. They're using paper. They've got a project flowchart back here. They're working on who does what, when, where, and how. All this kind of stuff. It's very cooperative. This is I think, one of the most cooperative project challenges there are, this and Spiro Hero probably, that you have to work together as a team to get this done, because we're asking you to do a very complex thing in what really amounts to a short amount of time. A true game design project, start to finish in school or something, can take you a whole semester. Our video game classes that we have take a whole year to do what we're asking you to do in 4 to 6 months. So you're really going to have to work together to get this kind of stuff done. So you've got that. The next thing I really want to talk about is the rubric and where people fall short. So this is a high school. The high school has a little bit more, you'll notice their scores are going to be a little higher, but that's just because they're a little more advanced, and some of them have taken, a lot of these were CTE groups last year. So the learning experience, and we talk about this being a learning game. So what we want you to do is to use a game to teach somebody something or to help them expand their knowledge of something. So when we start doing this in our game design classes, we do learning games mostly. And the first thing I tell my students is to think of something that you had trouble with in a class, or something that you got right off, but other people in the class struggled with. And think about how you can take a game to make the learning more engaging and more fun for people. So one example, when I first started doing this, one class, one game team at my school talked about something I didn't even know about, because I'm not a big science guy. But there are a lot of different types of white blood cells, and they each do different things. And he said that was a really hard thing for the people in his biology class to understand and to remember which white blood cells did what thing. So he and his team made a game of white blood cells that were knights that went out to fight different kinds of enemies. And as the player, you found out what the enemy was, and the enemy had the same characteristics as certain different white blood cells. And so you went to, it was set in a medieval, these were knights. You went to the tavern to get these mercenary knights to get them to work for you, and you had to pick the right knights that would work with the type of white blood cell, monster, ghoul, whatever it was, I can't remember, that would work for you. So that way the kids were being reinforced of, okay, this, and the knights were named the same thing as the white blood cells. And they would go, oh, yeah, I remember this one did that. So I thought that was a really good way of thinking about it. We've had people do things about chemical bonding. We have equivalent fractions. Social studies is a big one. We have a lot of go back in time and find something, get something. Just different, just think, what, like I said, something that you struggled with or other people in your class struggled with. So in the high school, the learning thing isn't the hardest thing. In the high school, the shortest bar here on the rubric is evidence of play testing. So what we ask you to do is once you get the game figured out and how it's going to work and all the game mechanics and everything, that you make a prototype. Now, this prototype can be a paper prototype, it can be a card game, it can be a board game, it can be whatever you want it to be, or it can be a prototype of a video game if you have those skills. Some people do them in Scratch. That's however you want to do the prototype. Then you have people play test the prototype that is equivalent to the age of your game. Like a lot of middle school people will make games for elementary school people, students. So you want to find some elementary students, if you make that game like that, to play the game. If you make it for your class, you want your classmates to play the game. If you're in high school and you want to make it for middle school, you want to find some middle school students. You're in high school and you want to make it for high school, you find them. If you think your game is for all ages, it's something that everybody might like, maybe it's climate change, might be it, and even adults can benefit from the learning of this game, then you would want to get adults, elementary and high school together if you think it's for all ages. Middle school is a little different. I'm sorry about this. So the middle school, the scores aren't as high because they haven't, a lot of those high school kids started in 6th grade and worked their way up to 12th grade. They were like 6 years of game design. So don't let the scores get to you that much. In middle school, it's the learning experience for students that they struggle with, that they don't really, they'll come and they'll have a great platform game that they've done on games or something, but it has nothing to do with learning. So you've got to make sure the two most important parts of this rubric are the learning game, is that the learning experiences, and then that there's evidence that it underwent rigorous play testing, and you change the game based on the feedback of the people that played it, because no game is ever perfect. So you want to get feedback from those people you play test with, for them to say, well, it would have been nicer if I did this, I got some experience points for doing that. Or probably the biggest one is, if I do something on level 3 that makes me die, or I don't have any more choices, well, it takes me all the way back to the beginning of level 1. And I just don't want to play this game anymore if I have to keep doing that. That's a big one, especially middle school, that there's no way to restart from where you ended. So those to me are the two biggest ones for this rubric. And so next, there's some resources that you can have. To me, the best one, and this one's especially for middle school, is the Games for Change Student Challenge. And it's under the Student Resources tab in the Games for Change website. Games for Change, and this is a big shout out to STLP, the Games for Change Challenge is based on our game design challenge. They saw what we were doing. The person that helped me make this one was also working with them, and they were like, well, how can we do this? And he said, well, let me tell you what they're doing in Kentucky. And they went, yeah, let's do that. So theirs is almost exactly the same. The biggest thing is they tell you what you have to make the game about, but it's the resources you want to look at. And the two best ones, if you look through there in the student resources, there's like 5 different things to look at. There is one about what makes a learning game for middle school. That would be really helpful. High school too. And then down towards the bottom, there's one about how to create a prototype. So, like I said, those are the 2 hardest things on the rubric. Here are resources to help you with those. The Riot Game URF Academy, a little bit more geared for high school, but there's some things that middle school could take away from it. Riot Games, well-known game design company, game development company. And they have the academy. It's a whole curriculum of, you can take 6 lessons you can go through. I think each lesson is designed to be 2 or 3 weeks, but you can just kind of pick and choose what you want. They have the end thing that the culminating experience of the academy is doing a paper prototype, and how to do it and how to evaluate it. Really suggest that you look at that. And then lastly, this is kind of a new one. The BAFTA is the British Academy Awards, and they have a thing called the Young Game Designers Challenge that they do. And it's a little British centric, not too bad. But if you look on that page, down towards the bottom is a thing for teacher resources. And the teacher resources have a lot of lessons on various aspects of the game. And it also has a game idea generator. So that's a way you can kind of get yourself started. So those are some good resources for you, kind of ones for each thing. Also, while we're here, would like to address AI in the game design challenge. The biggest use of AI we saw last year was people that made characters for their game. They did character sketches, and they had like descriptions, character descriptions. And for the descriptions, they had a picture of that they had AI generated. Totally fine, so long as you credit that it's AI generated. Totally fine. I don't want, in the game design challenge, we don't want a lack of technical ability to keep you from using your creativity and the collaboration to be in the game design challenge. Now, do I want you to say, make me, and there's really not much of a way, because the two biggest things we look at are the paper prototype, the learning, the paper prototype and the iteration, how you change the game. And then lastly, the presentation of how you tell us what you did. Those are the big three for us. And when I say us, the same four people have judged this challenge for probably the last 10 years, at least 5. So we're very knowledgeable about game design. You don't need to spend time telling us what XP is and what a platformer is and all that kind of stuff. We know that stuff. So just get in, tell us why your game is the best one and people should play it. That's what your presentation is all about. Why should I play this? And what is awesome? What makes your game awesome? So I hope that's been helpful and that it increases the participation. You know, we like it when we get too big for the hall. And this thing is right in the way, and I have no way to know how to get it off of here. I'm sorry, I'm not very Teams proficient. But right there, that's my email address. If you have any other questions, comments, you want to know whether you're on the right track or not, just shoot me an email and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And that's my time, and I appreciate Matt and Jeff. My brain is I've been staring at a computer screen all day. Affording me the time to help people out and get a little more participation in the game design challenge.
Awesome. That is so awesome, and we appreciate your time leading this challenge for so many years, as well as taking time to present and share with us today. What we'll do is we will take this screen recording and we'll attach that to the rubric, and we'll see if Keith will share this presentation, and we'll attach that in there as well. I think that's really helpful for everyone that wasn't able to be on today, but is still interested in wanting to step up their game.
There you go.
So I did, yeah.
That was good. I like that.
All right. Well, we appreciate it. If you have any questions, reach out to our STLP email or Mr. Barnes, and we'll help you get going and caught up with game design.
Yep. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it. Bye-bye.